All right, so we're saying to accommodate the personal automobile, houses are built on widely scattered lots far from places of work and shopping malls are equipped with immense parking lots that leave little room for wooded areas. All right, so like to accommodate for the automobile, houses were built far away from places of work and shopping malls that have like all these places for parking. Hence, had people generally not used personal automobiles, the results would have to have been a geography of modern cities quite different from the ones we have now. So, what is our conclusion, Jillian?
Oh God. The results would have been a geography of modern cities.
Yeah, if people did not use an automobile, our geography of cities would have been different. And what is our reasoning for that, Giovanna? Why are we saying this?
Because they're saying okay, let me get this straight. They designed the city because we have the automobile, everything is so far away. So if we didn't have it, we would be in a congested city, according to them.
That's what they're assuming, right? They're saying like, oh, this was created to accommodate for the automobile. So if we didn't have the automobile, then this wouldn't have happened. Excellent.
Exactly.
So for our predictions, I want us to predict a flaw and think about what is this assuming? So takes for granted or presumes without providing justification, or what is our argument failing to consider? And put your prediction in the chat. All right. So, Taylor, you had a great prediction for this one. What was your prediction?
Fails to consider it may. Oh, wait, what did I say? Failing to consider it may be this like modern society that's changing may be the same regardless of the automobile.
Yeah, we're failing to consider that even though we didn't have the automobile, something else could have caused the same effect, right? So you said fails to consider it might have been the same without the automobile, which I just changed it a little bit to say it fails to consider that something else would bring about it to be this way other than the automobile. Mm-hmm. Excellent. And so when we went through these, let's go ahead and start with E. So the questions we want to ask ourselves here is, did this happen and is it a problem? And so D says, takes for granted that people ultimately wanted to live without automobiles. Do we assume that in our argument, that people wanted to live without automobiles? No. So E was pretty easy to cross off. D says, takes for granted, so assumes that shopping malls do not need large parking lots, even given the use of automobiles. Do we assume that? Nope. So D was pretty easy to cross off. And then A through C were kind of tricky for people. So let's start with C. And it says, overlooks the fact that many technological innovations other than the personal automobile had some effect on the way people live. Does this happen? Do we overlook that other things could have had an effect on it? Technically, we do. But is it a problem that we overlook that? No, because is it an issue because it has some effect. So just a little bit of an effect on the way people live. And the way that people live, that might not be the way that the land was developed. Like maybe like hopefully there are other things than just the personal automobile that impacts the way people live. Not, but because where our conclusion is more so specifically about the geography of modern cities. It's not like the automobile itself made everything happen for us in the way that we live. And then B says infers. So, and what does infers mean, Jillian?
Assumes.
Actually, it means concludes.
Okay.
So like to infer means to conclude. So concludes from the idea that the current geography of modern cities resulted from a particular cause, that other facets of modern life resulted from that cause. So what are we saying is the particular cause that the current geography resulted from?
Automobiles to
Automobile.
accommodate,
Yep, the automobile. So let's fill that in here. So we're saying concludes from the idea that the current geography of modern cities resulted from the automobile, that other things of modern life resulted from the automobile. Do we do that? Jillian?
I don't understand that last part.
So the other facets of life resulted from that cause. So it's saying that other things also came from the automobile. So do we take the fact that the automobile impacted the current geography and then take that fact and then conclude that it also impacted other areas of life?
Honestly, I'm really lost. Like, it's not there for me.
Okay. Which part is not there for you?
I think I just don't understand the question at all. Okay, concludes from the idea that the current geography of modern cities resulted from the automobiles that other facets of modern life resulted from.
Okay. So the big part here is this is a great practice of questions that we have to be able to take things that are abstract in our answer choices and fill them in with specific things from our stimulus. So here we're saying that from a particular cause. So our particular cause, we need to fill in with the automobile in both cases here. And so what this is saying, oh, sorry, I drew on the wrong one. Infers from the idea that the current geography of modern cities resulted from a particular cause, other things. Okay. So if we say that, so I'll try once more and then we can talk about some other time if Jillian, you don't get it. So we're saying, do we conclude, so do we take the idea that current geography, the way that our cities are built today are built that way because of the automobile? Do we get that? That part? So do we take the fact that automobiles influence the way modern cities, and because of that fact alone, do we then say that the automobile must have impacted other areas of life? It doesn't happen. Like, we don't do that above, right? We don't say like, hey, the automobile is what impacted our current cities today. So the automobile must also be why we have gas prices are the way that they are. Do you understand? It's okay if you don't understand the answer, Jillian, but do you see how I'm filling it in with stuff from the stimulus at least? Okay, so this is not right because we don't do that. And then A says infer. So do we conclude from the idea that the current geography of modern cities came from a particular cause, so that the geography of modern cities came from automobiles, that it could only have resulted, so the way that the cities were built could only have happened because of the automobile? Does that happen? Do we do that? Yep. Is it a problem that we do that? Yes. And so that's why A is our answer. How do we feel about that? Good, bad?
I guess I just want to make sure that, so we switched to flaws, right? So we're
Yes.
So we have to stick strictly to the stimulus now, right?
Yes.
So because I, like my prediction, and then I saw C and I was like, oh, that's perfect. But given that
we're not beginning it anymore. Yes, that. And so this is why your homework for this week includes an untimed section